touch mine.
Hi Gamer here, and I'm going to do a quick update to my previous warrior build. So if you're unfamiliar with the current build I'm running, go ahead and check out my previous video. It'll make a lot more sense, and I'm actually going to go a little bit into more detail in that last video as I am opposed to now, since with the current ANET server issues that are going on, I'm going to go through this rather quickly because I've been getting booted quite often. So let's start with my utilities. Healing Signet, best healing for the warrior. Signet of Might, 180 power, but also it's unblockable. That's why I use it. Berserker Stance is my answer towards Condis. Endure Pain, breaks stuns, and gives me invulnerability for 2 seconds every 30 seconds, so very useful. I'm running the Berserker trait line, so Headbutt is the way to go. It does a lot of damage, gives me all my adrenaline back. And yeah, alright, so moving on real quick here, we're going to go to my equipment. I am currently running the Greatsword, Axe, and Shield combo. I am running a Sigil of Cleansing for the Greatsword, Sigil of Doom, Sigil of Absorption, since I do a lot of stuns and all that, and especially want a 25 stacks of Might if I'm fighting a Necro with that kind of power. And a Sigil of Intelligence because critical chance of 100% is lethal when I use Decapitate. Currently full Zerker, so Rune of Strength and Berserker Amulets is the way to go. Okay then, so the specialization. So there's one change I did for this build, and that is the Strength trait line instead of the Discipline. I'm going to explain that later, but first, so I'm running Strength, Defense, and Berserker. Defense, I'm running a Shield, so obviously I'm going to go with Shield Master. Endure Pain still has that glitch of 60-second cooldown, don't worry about it, but basically an extra 2 seconds that I want. Cleanse and Iron, my other answer to Condi pressure. Berserker Smash Brawler, reduce cooldown on my, what is it even called? My burst skills, Dead or Alive. This actually has saved me several times, so I highly recommend that. And Eternal Champion, stability, very, very important. Alright, so I want to talk about this mainly. The why I switched over to Strength instead of Discipline. This was actually an entire accident. I was just screwing around with my build and accidentally got into a ranked match with my Strength trait instead of my Discipline. And all of a sudden I was doing really, really well. And then I figured, what happened? Well, I changed it to Strength. So what am I gaining and what am I losing? Well, for one, my dodges do about 2k crit damage or 1k hits normally, so that's a lot of damage output, especially since I recover my endurance relatively quickly. Restorative Strength, I don't really care about that. There's nothing really useful in that line. My burst skills restore endurance on hit, so every time I pop my burst, I gain more endurance, more dodge rolling. Currently using the Greatsword, so 10% extra damage. Why not? I gain might, and my cooldowns are reduced by a lot, so hell, why not? And then, hey, if I don't have full endurance, my damage is increased by 10% overall, so that's the reason why that's really good. Also, one of the questions that I always wanted to ask myself is, what's more important, Berserker Power or the Axe Mastery, since I'm running the Axe? Well, consider this. I am gaining 300 Ferocity, which is basically 30% extra critical hit damage, so I'm basically gaining 30% extra damage instead of, on average, 15%. So I am using the Axe Mastery because I actually gain a lot of adrenaline. My recharge is reduced by 20%, and that Ferocity actually makes a huge difference. So I actually ran this build accidentally, and I ran it several times after, and I've realized how much damage I was gaining, or rather how much more damage I was doing, which was a tremendous amount. However, what I am losing is still notable. I am losing my mobility. I am not that fast, and if I have immobilization, the only way I can remove it is by going through Condi Cleanse. Same thing with this. I don't have that Condi Cleanse, and my my adrenaline is not gained back by 33%, and my damage is decreased, but that's not a big deal. The other thing I'm losing is also the adrenaline I'm losing when I swap weapons, and the most important thing that I realized that I'm losing is my weapon swap. That's 5 seconds, but other than that, the only thing I would consider notable that I'm losing is the mobility and the extra time that I can be used to swap weapons to gain might and basically more adrenaline. So it really depends on what you prefer, because if you're running middle, if you want to tank, I would suggest Strength, which is what I'm currently running, and I'm outputting damage like nothing. And with the current server issues, I was able to get limited footage of the build in action, but hopefully it gives you an idea of how the build works. So, enjoy.
You and I
The keep's been lost.
Swift and steady.